Okay, we need to talk about Tesla. Where Tesla is going next, what's going on with Tesla, should you be buying, should you be holding, should you be selling your position? Now, I am not a financial advisor, I'm not a financial planner, I'm just some guy making this video to you that owns a bit of Tesla stock. So don't listen to me, but I will share my opinions and what I am personally doing with my position. Now, we are also going to hear from Gary Black here in this video. He says, you need to own Tesla stock if you think these two things have happened. And we're going to share that clip with you. It's about 5 minutes long. They go over this recent anti-Semitist or so comments from Elon. You can call it whatever you want. I don't think he was anti-Semitic, but some people do. And that's your personal opinion to make your own judgment. Gary Black goes over really the core of this issue and how it is not going to affect Tesla. So for those of you guys that panicked because of this, yeah, it's all but over with, at least for now. Let's go ahead and get into this video. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel because it is free 99. It costs you absolutely nothing to do. It costs more to breathe in this country via taxes than to hit the like button or subscribe to the channel. If you guys would also like to come trade with us, link down below in the description of this video. This past week, we hit a 700 to 1,000% winning trade and about 400% winning trade as well. So if you guys want to join us, link down below. We will welcome you with open arms. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Your option activity for the day today, well, you had 972 orders worth $1.01 billion with a positive order value of 45%. I like to call anything between 45% and 55% pretty neutral, so I would categorize today as neutral for option activity. But if we look out longer term, let's say to May 17th, 2024, you can see a put to call ratio of open interest of 1.09. So that means there's actually more puts than calls on this expiration. If you take a look out further to May 19th, 2024, you have a put to call ratio of open interest of 1.09. That means, if you guys don't know, anything over 1, there's more puts than calls on any given expiration. But if you look at the volume today, there was actually 2-to-1 calls versus puts. So more than double the amount of puts being bought today. What are we seeing for 2024? Let's take, for an example, May 17th, 2024, which is the first month we're expecting the initial rate cut from the Fed. It's being priced in for May currently. You have a put to call ratio of open interest of 1.09. Anything above 1 means there's more puts than calls. But the volume today is totally different with a put to call ratio of 0.44. So there is more than 2 calls being bought today for every 1 put being bought. The volume today on the call side is 69.62%. The volume on the put side is 30.38%. So it looks like in the options market, at least today on Friday, people are very bullish on Tesla for 2024. Especially for the first half of 2024. And it gets even more bullish when you look out to September of 2024. Not in the put to call ratio. Put to call ratio is about 1.49, meaning there is about 2 puts for every 1 call for September. A lot of this is hedging. A lot of people, hedge funds, institutions, they look to hedge out their largest positions heading into a new year. So this is somewhat to be expected. But look at that put to call ratio volume today of 0.34. There is 3 calls for every 1 put being bought for this expiration here today, with a total call volume of 74.5% and a total put volume today of 25.5%. These are very bullish numbers. If they continue, then pretty quickly you're going to see more calls for 2024 than puts. For May 17th, 2024, looking at the bubble chart here, there is a lot of activity around the $300 call and then the $370 call. Looking out to September 20th, 2024, lots of activity around the $350 call as well as the $500 call. It's pretty clear, as Gary Black says, if you are a growth investor, you want to be in Tesla stock for 2024. And as we talked about in the last video, rumors have it Tesla is about to raise prices yet again over in China. As Gary Black says, the Cybertruck is going to be priced a lot higher than the Model 3 or the Model Y. So that means even an incremental delivery number for Cybertrucks, maybe 50,000, 100,000, is going to boost that average selling price for Tesla. As long as Tesla can hold their auto gross margins where they are or increase them, that's going to be great news for 2024. And Wall Street is underpricing Tesla's delivering power and pricing power. With 22% delivery estimates for 2024, I'll be the first one to tell you, if you have not heard already, Tesla is going to smash that number in the face. Imagine when the average selling price also increases with a 30 or 35% delivery rate, growth rate for 2024, and higher margins. Oh my gosh. Wall Street is going to be dead wrong on Tesla, and Tesla, I think, could hit new all-time highs in 2024. Remember, Wall Street is always behind the curve. You and me, we know things about Tesla that Wall Street doesn't, that are not priced into Tesla stock. That continues to be the case today. I think I am no genius when I say Tesla is going to raise prices even further. Broad price increases everywhere in 2024 as rates come down. Fed futures are currently pricing in 0.75 to 1% of rate cuts in 2024. Tesla's not going to just pass all of that cost savings on to consumers. They're not that generous. They're going to raise prices, keep monthly payments the same, so they bring more money into the bottom line. It's as simple as that. I can sit here and say that with confidence, but Wall Street would cringe at the idea of broad price increases for the US, for Europe, for China. It's not even on their radar yet. We are now going to listen to this full 5-minute clip from Gary Black because I think you guys could benefit a lot from hearing from what he has to say. Then after that, I will give you guys my estimates for Tesla stock throughout the rest of this year, as well as 2024. We're actually going to look at EPS estimates. I'll give you my estimates for EPS in 2024, including the price increases that we are going to see, and what that could mean for Tesla stock. And it's very exciting.
Yes, now is Gary Black, Future Fund Managing Partner. Gary, you know, we've gone down this road in a different way in the past. I remember when we had a conversation just about the amount of time and effort he was spending on Twitter when he was acquiring the company and running it. Concerned you a bit at that point. How much does this concern you at this point with just what continue to be these decisions by him to engage on these controversial topics that seem to alienate a lot of people?
Well, look, we're investment managers, and we get paid to find stocks that are going to triple over the next 5 years. And our view is, you know, despite remarks like he made, which we don't like, and I can't, embrace what he said or even condone it at all, I think the stock is still a great stock because EV adoption today is 12, and it's going to go to 60 over the next 7 years. And Tesla right now has about 16% share of that EV space. And with Cybertruck, a refreshed Model 3, and most importantly, a $25,000 vehicle, we think it can still, grow its volumes 30 to 35% a year. As a growth manager, I cannot find growth stocks that have volume growth of 30 to 35% a year, earnings growth of 40% a year, trading at 40 times. So, the investment question we have to ask is, will this impact the brand? I don't know if it's anti-Semitic what he said or not. I don't know if that's true. But what I'm trying to figure out as an investor, is it going to impact the brand? Is it going to cause consumers, rather than think about charging, convenience, and safety, and performance, and the technology, are they going to be saying, hey, it's run by a CEO who, embraced a post that talked about, hatred of one group versus another.
Right.
And I think at the end of the day, I think consumers are going to evaluate the product on its merits and not on the CEO.
So you're not worried then, Gary? I mean, again, and by the way, I said this earlier, I know a number of people who are close to, or at least somewhat close to Musk, and, they don't think he's an anti-Semite. I don't.
I don't
but
either.
he does make these decisions, Gary, to engage in things. By the way, he encourages it, though, by choosing to either post or point to certain tweets and the like. But you don't seem to think it's going to matter in terms of people's willingness to embrace the brand.
I think at the end of the day, Tesla has a best-in-class product. They are the best at manufacturing. They can drive costs down the quickest. And look, they've shown an ability to figure out what consumers are going to want. long before GM, Ford, Stellantis, and everybody else, and I think that's going to continue. I don't want to comment on whether his comment was anti-Semitic or not. I don't know if that's important, but I don't think the consumer at the end of the day is going to hold the CEO's comments in their what I call a purchase decision of whether to buy a Tesla. I could be wrong, but that to me at the end of the day is what's the most important to think about.
Well, the decision these days about whether to buy a Tesla or any EV seems to be more about price and or the charging network and how inconvenient it may be. I mean, there seems to be a growing consensus, maybe that's not the right word, but at least concern that EV growth is slowing. You don't seem to share that concern.
The data doesn't support that, David. When you look at the data, and we publish it every quarter, you can see that in the third quarter, EV adoption globally is at 12%, and fourth quarter, it's growing nicely. So could you say the growth has slowed? Yeah, it's slowed, but it's not going down. And as long as you continue to see, as you've seen in Norway, as you've seen in the Netherlands, as you've seen in China, as long as EV adoption grows from, again, do the math, 12% globally to 60, and that's our forecast, but others have forecasts that are similar, between now and 2030, you're going to get 35% volume growth. And then the question is, how much is pricing going to come down by? Cybertruck is going to be priced, and that's coming out, at the end of the month. That's going to be a $70,000 vehicle. So while I do think you're going to see some pressure on pricing, you're going to see some offsetting products like Cybertruck that are going to cause pricing to continue to move higher, average selling price. And I think that the big investment question is, have auto gross margins bottomed? They hit 16% in the third quarter because, as you know, it took pricing down. Have we seen the last of that? And what we've seen the last couple of weeks is prices have actually started to go the other way. They've had 3 separate price hikes in China, and the rumor is that they're going to have another one next week. So as long as I believe that EV adoption can continue to grow from 12 to 60, which is what we're thinking, and B, the gross margins have bottomed, you want to be in this stock at 55 times earnings, putting up 40% earnings growth, regardless what Elon Musk is saying. I do think also that Elon's a smart guy. I've seen him in the past where he'll say something that, later he realizes is not so smart, and he will delete his post. I would be surprised to see him not talk about this topic for a while, because he's got 120,000 people who work at Tesla who depend on the Tesla brand staying, the strongest in class. And I don't think he wants to hurt those 120,000 people if all of a sudden the consumer's saying, I'm not going to buy Tesla because the CEO is making dumb comments.
I wanted to share this clip with you from Gary Black because I think he is the most level-headed Tesla hedge fund. So I wanted to share this clip with you from Gary Black because I think he is the most level-headed institutional investor that has a big position in Tesla. If you look at someone like a Ross Gerber that went off the handles over the last 24 hours, well, I would feel very unsafe investing my money with an individual like that. Gary Black has the best, well-rounded perspective of Tesla that I can find out there. Of course, we disagree on some things. Everyone should disagree on some things. But I think he is looking at the situation the most reasonable way possible. So if you are buying Tesla stock right now, you are buying the stock after estimates have came down a lot for 2024. 3 months ago, the EPS estimate was $4.80. Today, it is $3.92. It has went down almost a whole dollar within the past 3 months. I think that is far from the reality of what we're going to see. According to the Nasdaq.com, the 2024 PE, the 12-month out PE for Tesla currently sits at 67. That's actually not true. The 12-month ahead PE is around 60 right now, technically 59.87. We'll round up to 60. It's simple how you do this calculation. The price of Tesla stock divided by the forward 12-month earnings, EPS. Simple as that. If we're expecting $3.92, then Tesla's PE today is 60. Now, if the markets are saying a 60 times forward 12-month PE is fair based on the current market price of $234.70, well, okay, that's fine. What if the what if the EPS number really comes in at $4.80, which was the 3 month ago estimate for 2024? Well, if you times that by 60, you're looking at $288 of Tesla share price, right? $288, close to about $300. Well, if you do 480 plus, let's say the Fed does cut rates 4 times in 2024 as the markets are pricing in, well, let's say the multiple can then be 70. Well, then you get a stock price of $336 for Tesla in 2024. But my estimate is Tesla is going to raise prices, and you are going to see margins improve via one way, the Cybertruck, the average selling price is going to be higher. And let's say the Cybertruck ramp is not as brutal as what some people think it will be. Let's say things go a little more smoothly. Elon basically reset everyone's expectations, saying that the Cybertruck is going to hurt margins for 12 to 18 months. I mean, that was a big deal. That reset expectations across the board. Let's say Tesla comes in with EPS of $5.50 for 2024, which I don't think is too unreasonable. Let's say PEs expand slightly. Let's say they go to 65. Then you're at $357.50 per share. That would be a $120 increase from Tesla's price today. That means for every share you own, you're going to make $120 off of each one in 2024. Or if you say we're going to come in at $5.50 of EPS, you times that by the typical 70 multiple that Tesla's ran at on average for a while now, and then you're at $3.85. Well, who knows? Who knows what the EPS number is going to come in as? Who knows what the environment is going to look like for Tesla? If we get any kind of licensing deal for FSD or any other good news, maybe the halo effect is really taking hold and maybe growth estimates go higher for 2025 and the rest of 2024 at that point because of that halo effect from the Cybertruck, maybe you could see 100 for the PE multiple again. Well, Tesla was trading at a 2,000 times multiple at one point. 100 is really not unreasonable. It's all based on the growth rate. Because if you're growing, let's say EPS by 100%, right? Or expected to grow EPS by 100%, well, then your PEG ratio looks a lot better, right? Its PEG ratio is PE ratio divided by growth rate. So if you have a 60 times PE ratio and you're growing at 100%, that means your PEG ratio is very, very low. Just for an example, I don't necessarily think Tesla's going to grow at 100%. It's possible Tesla does grow EPS by 100% next year if they do raise prices by a lot, considering full year EPS for 2023 is expected at $3.92. It's possible, theoretically, you come in with $7 of EPS. Some analyst estimates are that high. I'm pretty dang conservative with $5.50 in my personal opinion. I think this number could easily be $6 or more. But let's say Tesla does get back to that 100 times forward PE multiple, because again, when you're in 2024, the forward PE is going to be looking at the next 12 months. So that's going to incorporate parts of 2025 as well. If you're halfway through the year in 2024, then you're going to be incorporating half the year of 2025 into your forward 12-month PE estimates. Well, that would put Tesla stock at $550 at some point next year, probably towards the end of the year. And I think that's not unreasonable, especially if rates do go lower. I'll add even more to this. Consider this as well. Money market funds, well, have $5.9 trillion of cash in them right now. This is ridiculous, right? This is where you park your money for risk-free return, following yields on treasuries until there is somewhere else better to put your money. Name me somewhere else better to put your money than Tesla when rates go lower, and who's going to benefit the most from that? It's obviously Tesla. Now, a lot of fund managers have mandates, right? They can't invest in certain companies. A lot of small mid-cap companies, a lot of funds cannot invest in, right? Unless you're allocated to super high growth or have some degree of allocation to small and mid-cap companies. So Tesla is your investment grade, large tech company, besides what anyone else wants to say, Tesla is a tech company, that is investment grade. That's going to benefit, I would argue, the most out of any company out there at all from rates going lower. I mean, as long as margins have bottomed and Tesla's not going to cut prices further, I mean, it looks like upside from here. Looks like things get better from here. And I don't even think Wall Street has priced in the trough to margins yet. I don't even think Wall Street is looking at Tesla and saying, we're through the worst of it. I think investors, by and large, still think worse things are to come for 2024. That is a false narrative, my friends. Better things are to come for 2024, and that's why I'm bullish on Tesla stock. Now, if something changes, if there is a deep recession, that's the one thing I think that I'm not incorporating into this. What if there is some kind of recession? In the case of a recession, I still think you get upside from here after that initial panic, but you're definitely not going to hit all-time highs if we go into a recession in 2024. I'm not expecting that to happen, just because I think during an election year, it's very unadvantageous to go into a recession. The Fed will cut rates as much as they have to avoid a recession. So I just think it's highly unlikely that we do this year. 2025 looks more like we could see a recession to me, my personal opinion. But if you are a bear on Tesla, that's really the only thing you have is the recession argument. And then, yeah, that's totally going to change the numbers here, the calculation evaluation for Tesla. But I just, like I said, don't see it right now. And I think right now, Tesla is already priced for a recession with 22% growth rates. And let's be honest, there is a lot of people that are pessimistic on Tesla. Tony Sacconaghi just said, what if Tesla only grows 10% next year? We went from talking about Tesla growing 50%. Now there's really a conversation of Tesla growing 10% next year. That just shows you how wrong the bears are on Tesla stock. And the more wrong the bears are, the more money you will make in Tesla stock over the next coming months and years. But here in the short term, we're having a battle right now between, are we going into a recession, or is inflation just coming down and the Fed will be able to cut rates? There's not enough clarity right now. So in the near term, I don't expect some crazy rally above $300 per share. From now until the end of the year, I think Tesla goes higher, especially, I mean, we can't consider what kind of news we're going to get, right? There's always that news wild card that we just don't know. I think Tesla can easily trade towards the 260s, 270s, 280s, but I'm not expecting this huge run towards the end of the year. I think when we get more clarity on whether or not we're heading into a recession, that's when Tesla stock really runs. The moment we can more or less confirm rates are coming down and there's no recession involved, that's where Tesla sees those exponential gains from here. So I am bullish from now until the end of this year, especially given the Cybertruck. I think the month of December is going to be a very strong one for Tesla, but it could be the second half of 2024 that's really strong for Tesla. And that is exciting if you are a bull in Tesla, because that means before you see that huge exponential $100 or $200 move higher for Tesla stock to break past all-time highs, you have more time to buy the dip in Tesla. And let's be honest, Tesla is dipped. You're still in a dip from the highs. Tesla stock is still down about 43%. So the dip has dipped and has continued to dip. But I do think much better things are ahead. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What is your prediction, your estimates for Tesla stock over the next coming weeks, months, and years? Let me know how you would value Tesla. What do you think the EPS is going to be? What do you think an appropriate PE multiple is based on Tesla's growth, right? A PE multiple at 60, looks a little bit different if Tesla's growing at 20%. A PE multiple at 70 looks a little bit different if Tesla's growing at 35%. You could all make the argument of what the PEG ratio should be. I make the argument that the PEG ratio is wrong on Tesla. Tesla is going to beat the estimates for 2024. Tesla's EPS is going to come in a lot higher than $3, 92 cents or whatever the number is that they're estimating. It's wrong. It's just flat out wrong. That's the bottom line to it. What is your estimate? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you guys would like to come talk to us, come trade with us, come get involved in the community, link down below in the description of this video. Results are not guaranteed, but we have been hitting some home run grand slammers over there this past week. We would love to have you over there. I think like net $400 has turned into like $4,000, some crazy number like that. So come join us. Link down below in the description if you guys want to be a part of it. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekends, and I will see you in the next one.